Your paycheck lands on Friday. By Monday, most of it is already gone. Rent, groceries, a subscription you forgot about, a dinner out because you deserved it. This feels normal. It feels like just how money works. But the real answer is far stranger than that. Money was never designed to disappear. It was designed to multiply. And almost nobody ever shows you how. Here is what nobody tells you at school. Money is not just a thing you spend. It is a tool that can work while you sleep, while you eat, while you scroll on your phone doing absolutely nothing. Most people only ever use money one way. They trade hours of their life for it, then trade that money for things that lose value the moment they buy them. A new phone, a new car, a weekend they will barely remember in a year. The money leaves. It never comes back. And the cycle repeats every single month for decades. But there is a second way to use money. A way almost invisible to most people, hiding in plain sight. Instead of trading money for things, you trade money for machines. Not literal machines. Machines made of paper, contracts, and ownership. A rental property is a machine. A share of a company is a machine. A small business you don't even have to run yourself is a machine. Each one takes your money in once and then pays you back. Again and again. For years. Sometimes for the rest of your life. Why does this sound so foreign to you? Because you were trained, without realizing it, to think of money as something you consume, not something you plant. Consider Benjamin Franklin. In 1790, right before he died, he left an unusual gift. He gave 1,000 pounds to the city of Boston and 1,000 pounds to the city of Philadelphia. But there was a catch. Nobody could touch the money for 100 years. It just had to sit there, earning interest, quietly multiplying in the background. After a century, part of it could be spent. The rest had to sit for another 100 years. By 1990, 200 years later, Franklin's original gift had grown into millions of dollars. He didn't work for that money. He didn't manage it. He didn't even live to see it. Time did the work. This is the same force insurance companies, banks, and the wealthiest families on earth have quietly used for centuries. It has a name: compound interest. It simply means your money earns money, and then that new money earns money too, and then that money earns money, layer stacking on layer, until the growth outpaces anything you could have earned by saving alone. Most people never experience this, not because they lack money, but because they lack patience. Which brings you to a strange discovery from behavioral economics. In 2004, economists Richard Thaler and Thaler Benartzi studied why people struggle so badly to save, even when they genuinely want to. They found something surprising. It wasn't laziness. It was pain. Watching your paycheck shrink today, even for a future benefit, feels like a loss right now. And the human brain hates losses far more than it enjoys equivalent gains. So Thaler and Benartzi built a program called Save More Tomorrow. Instead of asking people to cut their paycheck today, the program automatically increased their savings rate only when they got a future raise. No pain felt in the present. Employees using this program raised their savings rate from around 3.5% to nearly 14% within a few years. Nothing about their income changed. Only the timing of the decision changed. Doesn't that tell you something about how much of wealth building is really about psychology, not math? There is a second study worth knowing. In 2011, researcher Hal Hershfield ran an experiment using digitally aged photographs of people's own faces. Participants who saw a realistic image of their future, older self, chose to save significantly more money for retirement than those who only saw their current face. Your brain, it turns out, treats your future self almost like a stranger, not someone you feel responsible for. That is exactly why spending today feels so easy, and saving for a version of you that is 30 years away feels nearly impossible. The people who build wealth aren't smarter than you. They have simply found ways to make their future self feel real, right now, in this moment. Now here is the part that will sound backwards at first. Debt is not automatically the enemy. This surprises people every time. Debt is a tool, and tools are neutral. A hammer can build a house or smash a window. It depends entirely on who is holding it and why. There are two kinds of debt, and confusing them is what quietly keeps people poor. The first kind is debt used to buy things that lose value the second you own them. A car loan for a vehicle that depreciates the moment it leaves the lot. A credit card balance from things already consumed, worn out, or forgotten. This kind of debt takes money from your future and hands it to your past. It has nothing to show for itself except an ongoing bill. The second kind of debt is different. This is debt used to acquire something that pays you back. A loan used to purchase a rental unit that generates monthly income greater than the loan payment. A loan used to buy machinery for a small business that produces more revenue than its cost. Borrowed money used to buy shares of ownership in something productive. This is called leverage. It means using someone else's capital today to acquire an asset that will hand you back more than you borrowed, over time. The wealthy do not avoid debt. They simply refuse to use it on anything that doesn't eventually pay them back. This connects to something psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky discovered decades ago, now known as prospect theory. They found that people feel the sting of losing money roughly twice as intensely as they feel the pleasure of gaining the same amount. This single bias explains almost everything strange about how humans handle money. It explains why people avoid investing, because the fear of losing outweighs the appeal of growing. It explains why people take on bad debt for instant pleasure, because the pain of that decision is pushed into a future that doesn't feel real yet. And it explains why so few people ever build the machines that could quietly pay them for the rest of their life. The fear feels louder than the math. So what does actually building one of these machines look like in practice? It rarely starts with a large amount of money. It starts with redirecting a small, boring amount, consistently, into something that produces income instead of something that produces a feeling. A modest sum placed into shares of ownership in productive businesses. A small amount saved and eventually used, carefully, as a down payment on a property that rents for more than it costs to hold. A skill turned into a small system that earns money whether or not you're personally present that day. None of these feel exciting in month one. That is exactly the point. Compound growth is invisible for a long time, and then, suddenly, it isn't. Here is the mirror moment, the part that reflects back onto your own life right now. Every time money comes into your hands, it is quietly asking you a question, whether you notice it or not. Will you turn this into a memory, or will you turn this into a machine? A memory fades. A machine keeps paying you back, sometimes for years after you've forgotten you even built it. This is not about depriving yourself completely. Franklin didn't ask Boston and Philadelphia to stop spending forever. He asked for patience with a piece of it, redirected toward growth, while the rest of life continued. The people who build lasting wealth are not the ones who suffer the most. They are the ones who simply decided, early, that some of their money deserved a different job than disappearing. Your paycheck will land again on Friday. Most of it will move quickly, the way it always has, toward things that give a feeling and then vanish. But now you know there is a second option hiding in that same paycheck. A small piece of it, redirected instead of spent, can become something that never asks you for anything again and simply keeps paying you back. The money was never designed to disappear. You were simply never told it could multiply.